tasting that Lagunitas zero alcohol hop, the Hoppy Refresher by the Lagunitas Brewing Company. I actually like the taste of this. It's almost summery, a little bit citrusy. You can definitely taste the hops. I like it. It's not bad. That beer, that zero alcohol beer, has been in my fridge for maybe more than a year. Like it might be a year, to be honest with you, that this non-alcoholic beer has been in my fridge. Somebody brought non-alcoholic beer to a party of mine once, a gathering or whatever, and I did not touch that for as long as I have lived here since. Last week, in real life a couple of weeks ago, but in last week's episode, I drank some Heineken Zeros. Those were also just left over in my fridge. I didn't go out and buy those. In fact, I have never in my life purchased any non-alcoholic beer. I just have had non-alcoholic beer left at my place or gifted to me. I truly might look into it, buying some to have at home. We'll see. This is the last non-alcoholic beer or beverage that I have in the apartment. I only have actual alcohol besides this. Darn. Welcome to another episode of I'm Will Bryant. As always, I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. Let's get something out of the way. Can I talk my shit again? Do me a favor, follow me, like, subscribe, review, save, share, all that. Anything that you can do on a social media platform that I am involved in, do it. Just do it. How do you do it? Well, you can find me on all these platforms. Very easy because it's the same damn thing on every single one. I'm Will Bryant. It's 3 words. I'm Will Bryant. Bryant. Like Kobe. Bing, 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 bing. That's how we do it. I like this Lagunitas hop. All right, I've had some athletic brewing in the past, but recently I've had the Heineken Zero and the Lagunitas Hoppy Refresher. I might. Do I like the Hoppy Refresher more than the Heineken? Maybe. I'm also drinking coffee here. I'm mixing up a bunch of stuff. My own little cocktail of, I don't know, replacements for the actual thing. Today, I'm actually going to do something that I've never done on the episode, on an episode, I should say. I'm going to combine, I guess, 2 things I enjoy doing. One of them is podcasting, as I am doing right now. I guess talking in general, here I am doing that. The other thing, if you're watching me right now, you can see like right over my shoulder, what's always been over my shoulder is a corner with toys up on the shelves. And I have so many action figures, toys, dolls, as my girl likes to call them, that I've bought that I have yet to open. Because I like recording little unboxing videos. And I guess I just get behind, or if I have a couple of figures, it becomes like a deal. Like I know I have to dedicate some time to opening these figures. So it's almost like it becomes an ordeal or something, like a little bit of a labor instead of just fun. It doesn't like really ruin it for me. It makes me sometimes procrastinate a little bit on opening up some figures. Like, for example, some of these figures over this shelf over here are about a year old now. Like that black cat I bought at Comic Con last year, and I'm about to go to Comic Con again in like 2 weeks. So I have a U.S. Agent, Ultron, and a Blue Marvel there that are I think over a year old now as well. But then I got some, I have a figure here that I got literally yesterday. I had it on pre-order and I forgot it was coming, and I opened up an Amazon box from me yesterday, and it was cat food and an action figure. And I was like, all right, well, those are basically my two priorities right there, cats and toys. It was this figure right here that I got. For y'all watching, for y'all listening, it's the Jean Grey Dark Phoenix action figure where she gets all crazy and evil and turns into like this fiery bird. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of gonna be what in a way what this episode's about. It's not exactly a nerd out toy episode like, oh, this I like this one because it came out in this year. No, it's more of an examination maybe as to why, what it is about these toys, or why I do this. Why does anybody do it? Truthfully, I often wonder out loud. Oh, I'm also, by the way, while I do this, I figured I'm gonna actually just open up some of these toys too while I freaking talk to you guys. Two birds, one stone kind of thing. I'll record my podcast and also just have a video recording while I open these. But it's also, I like unboxing my toys, and why not combine it with? I'll share that with you guys as we talk a little bit about why I do this in the first place. I guess I don't know. I got to thinking about it, and I guess like like everything in my life, I wonder if there's I wonder more about the negative than the positive of buying these toys, these action figures. I wasn't always a one of these collectors, one of these people that bought a lot of toys. I started kind of recently, I suppose, definitely later on in my life. In fact, I'm holding right now the figure that kind of started it all for me, and it's nothing crazy. It's this old toy from I think 92, 94, 96. I used to know exactly when it was, and I the reason that this toy is kind of a big deal for me is because I remember it being beyond the shadow of a doubt my like favorite toy growing up. And my entire childhood, I remember thinking that this dude was a futuristic Gambit, because I kind of remember the packaging, the packaging that I ripped open or whatever. I remember it saying something about like X-Men. I didn't know if it was like 2010 or 2040 or whatever it was. But I remember being like future X-Men. And I just thought this guy looks so much like Gambit. He's got the same like headgear as Gambit, similar hair. And I didn't really know shit back then. I didn't know anything. There was also, there was no Google back then, kids. So I couldn't just look it up. There was no YouTube clips of him. He wasn't in a cartoon or anything. I just thought he was Gambit. It wasn't until recently, I'm talking about just a couple of years ago, that I learned it wasn't Gambit at all. God, I'm trying to think. It might have been during the pandemic, which is why I kind of went down this road of self-examination regarding my hobby. I'll more on that in just a little bit. But during the pandemic, I started getting into not just like toys or action figures, but I guess comic book culture in general. And I mean literally, like I actually was buying a lot of comic books. And then that got me more into the movies, and that got me just more into the characters, and eventually the toys, the action figures, which is what I kind of started to really gravitate to more. I stopped buying the comic books really and focused more on these action figures. Um, the reason I even got into the comics in the first place was because the pandemic just had me so down. I was so depressed, as were so many of us during the dreaded 2020 year. It was rough for a lot of us. Me being a bartender, I was so out of work that it was rough there for a while. And I didn't want to watch. I used to be the type of person that loved deep, thought-provoking movies, cinema, if you will. But during the pandemic, I got to this point where I just couldn't take it, really. I did not have it in me to watch a movie that made me examine myself on a deeper level. No, I needed something that just made me laugh on a very shallow level, or just entertained me on a very shallow level. And I got into, I don't think I had ever seen any of the John Wick movies at that point, and I saw definitely the first two. I'm trying to think if the third one was out by pandemic. If not, then one and two I saw. And I remember thinking, all right, good. What else is like this? What else is just easy, perhaps mindless, just fun, just nice, easy, digestible fun. And the first thing that came up to my mind was the Fast and the Furious franchise. And I was, being the pretentious lover of cinema that I wasn't so much into Fast and Furious. But it was 2020, and I decided to watch Fast and Furious from the very first movie. I probably had only seen three or four of them. I definitely saw the first three, and I don't remember. I actually don't think I had ever seen the fourth one in its entirety. So that's what I was going into. And in about a week, I watched every single Fast and the Furious movie, including the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff, in order. And I was hooked. Like I go see Fast and Furious in theaters now, opening weekend. Okay, that's usually what I do now. I remember when Fast 9 came out. Me and my girl went to go see it in one of those 4DX theaters where the chairs move and you feel it, like wind and all that stuff. It was the best. I had an amazing time. Vin Diesel, The Rock, Ludacris, Tyrese, Han, fucking Han, dude. Man, even Lil Bow Wow. I'll take all of them. I love that shit. I love that franchise. The last one, when they brought everyone back from Tokyo Drift, super underrated movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, to be honest with you, dude. I might put it in my top three Fast and Furious franchise movies of all time. Number one is probably the first one, I think. Number two, geez, I think it's gotta be maybe I think it's the fifth one that's popping into my head. The fifth one is, I believe, the one where they introduced The Rock into everything. Um, and then I don't know, Tokyo Drift might make my top three, dude. I think it's very underrated, and the fact that they brought everyone back, um, from Tokyo Drift in the latest one means that even Fast and Furious is like, all right, that one was legit too. Anyways, pandemic hits, and I'm watching all these like just fun, easy popcorn flicks. So once I got through like all million Fast and Furious movies, I started then doing just superhero stuff, Marvel and DC, and I was doing all the movies. I was loving it. The DC movies too, man. Fuck all you haters. All the Batmans, the Zack Snyder Supermans. I did the Wonder Woman movie because 1984 didn't come out yet at that point, but I did Wonder Woman. I loved Aquaman. Um, what else? I could not wait for Justice League to come out, the Zack Snyder cut. But yeah, Batman versus Superman. Oh man, I loved it. I loved it. And Marvel, I missed out on so much Marvel. Like I caught up on everything. The Ant Man movies I had never seen. So many Thor movies I never saw. Truthfully, I had never even really seen Infinity War and Endgame in its entirety. Um, Man, I was just not in it at all, and then that's how I got into. Now I don't miss any of them. I watch every comic movie, no matter what, and I'm always somewhat entered. I kind of liked Madam Web. Okay, I love Marvel and DC and just comic shit so much. I love these movies so much. I liked Madam Web. It wasn't that bad. All y'all hating on Madam. It wasn't that bad. I mean, okay, I didn't go pay for it in theaters. I definitely saw it for. I didn't even pay for it at home. I waited for it to just be a free stream. I didn't walk out of my living room. You know, I didn't get up and turn my back to the TV. It was not bad. Could have been better. You know, the fact that the only time that like any of them were in costume was in a vision of a future that never actually took place in the movie. Yeah, that's not what I expected. Um, and also the fact that that's just not what Madam Web really is in general. But whatever. I enjoyed Madam Web, and you know what? I'm looking forward to Venom. I'm looking forward to the Craven movie. I'm looking forward to all of it. I watch so much cartoons, dude. I rewatched all of X Men, all of Spider Man, all of Batman, Batman Beyond. I had never seen that. I'm watching the Fantastic Four cartoon right now, and you know what's crazy about the Fantastic Four cartoon? The intro music to the Fantastic Four cartoon. Sounds so like cheesy and corny, but it's so catchy too. Like that shit stays in your head. I didn't plan on playing this, but why not if I'm talking about it? Uh, it's the cheesiest song ever. In fact, I might have played it with Keith all the way back in like episode 2 or 3 or 4. Um, all right, yeah, here we go. I thought I was gonna play a ad before this, but no one wants to advertise on this song. Ready? They were hit by cosmic rays in the most fantastic ways. They're here, fantastic four. He's elastic. Fades from sight. A human torch. The thing just loves to fight. Here for more. Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four. So that amazing, catchy ass song, you would think, you know, whatever, some jingle guy from the 90s probably came up with that, right? Um, no. Actually, the person that came up with that, some of you guys might know his name. Some of you, like music insiders, might know his name. But for those of you that don't, the person that came up with that song was none other than Giorgio Moroder, or Marauder, however you want to pronounce his name. Some snobs are out there yelling at me exactly how to pronounce his name. It's Giorgio Marauder, I believe is how you say it. He is essentially the father of disco. Many people would call. He's one of the. He's definitely a legend of disco, and the reason that I know about him is because he was a heavy, heavy influence in Daft Punk. In fact, Daft Punk on Random Access Memories has a song literally called Giorgio by Marauder. And it goes like this, where they have him just talking.
16 when I really started to play guitar. I definitely wanted to become a musician.
This is Giorgio Marauder
It was almost impossible
just
because
talking on the intro of a song by Daft Punk
I didn't see any chance because I
named after him.
was studying, and when I finally broke away in the beginning, the second I noticed in 69, 70, they had already destroyed.
So this guy here,
So I would take my car
while he was, or after he revolutionized music in the 70s, and before he influenced a duo like Daft Punk to come up with funky ass beats like this guy Giorgio Marauder was busy coming up with this. Now suddenly this song doesn't sound so cheesy. It's like, yo, I knew this was catchy for a reason. They got hit by cosmic rays. Yeah. Whoa. It changed them in the most fantastic ways. Reed Richards. Yeah. Sue. She fades from sight. Yeah. Johnny is the human torch. And Thing just loves to fight. Woo! Fantastic Four. Legend behind that, man. Legend behind that. I had to pay him some respect there. Oh man. That gets me hyped. Doesn't it get you hyped now? Now people gotta look into that, man. That's you know what it got me thinking of? This is not what I thought I was gonna talk about at all. I'm talking about freaking music from TV shows back in the day. But there is another song that more people are familiar with. This one right here. Whoop, it's a commercial. Let's mute that commercial. But the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. This joint right here. Bang, bang. Radioactive Spider-Man. Damn, man. You hear that guitar? It gets even crazy here. And then it has like a little solo on the way out. This song, man, had no business going this hard. Spider-Man, oh, Spider-Man, yeah. So much badass guitar on this. And you want to know why? You want to know why the guitar on this song goes so hard? Because it was composed by Joe Perry, guitarist of Aerosmith. He did the song for Spider-Man, dude. Are you kidding me? Giorgio Moroder does Fantastic Four. Spider-Man is Joe Perry. You guys got legends composing songs for cartoons watched by 8-year-olds on a Saturday morning. No wonder we became fans of this for the rest of our lives, dude. These people knew what they were doing. This isn't an accident, man. You think it's Joe Perry and Giorgio Moroder are going to come up with tunes like that while my brain is still developing, and you're shocked that there's a mountain of action figures sitting directly over my shoulder while I podcast about it. You think you're surprised by that? Come on, they knew what they were doing. The seed was implanted in my fragile little mind all the way back then. I had no chance. No chance. So I come pandemic, when my mind was all blah, I went right back to what I remember making me happy. And that's what I was wondering. Do I buy these toys as some sort of am I an action figure collector, connoisseur, hobbyist because is it a coping mechanism? You know, am I what's the word that a psychologist might use? Is it some sort of besides coping? Is it am I masking something else? Perhaps what's behind this? Don't think I haven't thought about it. Like, is there something deeper to this, or is it just I'm a big ass kid? You know, like, is there a reason that I like buying toys that is deeper and makes me actually like interesting, or am I just a dumbass kid that likes to fucking buy toys and now I just have the money to do it? Is that what it is? Is there nothing deeper to this at all, and I should just stop thinking about it and just let it make me happy? This toy right here, I bought it during the pandemic when I finally was able to figure out what my favorite toy was growing up. I had my original toy of this, but it was all beat up. It was actually missing a leg. I had like marker on it from when I thought it was cool to like add, I don't know, marker to some of my toys. I remember like I outlined his abs or something, and I was like, yeah, he's cool now. I don't know. So he was just all beat up, and I wanted a new version of it. I wanted to replace my favorite childhood toy. But I didn't know what to look up. I was looking up like futuristic Gambit or Gambit from X-Men 20, whatever, and nothing was coming up, obviously, because this wasn't Gambit. I didn't know, but I thought it was Gambit. I think I finally once got the idea to like look under his foot, and it said like Toy Biz Inc. and then it said Marvel 1995. Well, now I realize it's 95. So I like typed in Toy Biz 95 X-Men, and I think I did some research on if there ever was a X-Men futuristic comic or line of toys, and there was. So I was able to like pinpoint the title or the name, and I saw other toys in the line of action figures that this guy came out with, and I was able to finally find like a picture of him on the back of another toy and realize his name is Mean Streak, and he's actually like Asian. I had no idea. I couldn't tell that this action figure's eyes were Asian. How progressive of me though, huh? And I found him on eBay, a new one, an unopened one, for like $9.99, for like $9. And I just remember having this feeling of like, whoa, I can replace this childhood toy of mine that I've been longing for years. And I can do it with a simple click and $10. And a couple of days later, this guy was here. And a new obsession essentially was born. I thought of another, perhaps my second favorite childhood toy growing up. And it was this guy. He was the superposable Spider-Man that was like the most flexible version of Spider-Man that they had come up with to that point. And I remember he has like a rubber band inside, keep like a really strong rubber band. No, not that strong. It's stronger now, but back when I was a kid, that rubber band inside of it, like it ripped like 2 or 3 times, and my mom replaced this toy for me at least that many times. In fact, I remember one time we went to KB Toys, and KB Toys, first of all, for you younger people out there, KB Toys was a toy store that used to exist and doesn't anymore because it's out of business. It was not so much like a Toys R Us. It was like a smaller Toys R Us because you could find it in like a mall or on the side of the street. Whereas Toys R Us usually was like a big place that needed like a larger area to operate. Um, I feel like going to Toys R Us was like a big deal, whereas going to KB Toys was not that big of a deal because you could do it. Like your mom could take you to KB Toys while she went to Macy's at the mall. Like you can. Toys R Us was the parents had to dedicate time to do something just for you. KB Toys, it's like, all right, fine, let's go in here and find you a $5 action figure. And KB Toys used to have this deal where you could get 3 action figures for $10. It was a 3 for $10 deal. And I remember one time, first of all, that was the best because, like, dude, when you're a little kid and your mom just points to a wall of toys and says, pick 3. What? I was lucky. We were lucky. Most of us that weren't spoiled. Man, didn't you feel lucky when she was just like, all right, choose one? When KB Toys 3 for $10, she goes, okay, you can choose 3. I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to be rich. They used to have those every now and then. But one time for for one of these 3 for $10 deals, I remember my mom telling me that I should just get 3 of these Spider-Man action figures because they keep breaking, and this way I'll have backups. And damn it, we did exactly that, and she was right because those kept breaking on me. So, of course, 25 years later, 28 years later, I don't know how old I was, when these action figures were, I believe they were re-released in the same style and same design, I jumped right on it and I bought one. That was like the second action figure that I ever bought. So I don't think it's, not ever bought, it's the second action figure I bought in this recent hobby obsession of mine, whatever you want to call it. So I don't think that there's any coincidence that the first 2 toys I've ever bought to kickstart this new grown-up obsession of mine were 2 childhood toys that I associate pretty much nothing but positive feelings and emotions with. And I think that there's also something very important in there that maybe some of you guys may have picked up on, but in some way, if I were to dissect at least those purchases, those toy purchases, if I were to dissect that a little bit deeper, I think a big reason as to why I bought those in the first place had to not just had to do with childhood, but with my mom specifically. I associated just the action of her buying the toy for me a lot with me buying it for myself. It reminded me how it made me feel when I was a kid when your mom or your dad bought you a toy. Whether you were at the store choosing it out yourself or you were unwrapping it on Christmas morning, there's something about getting a toy from your mom or your dad that just unlocks one of the most purest forms of, I think, joy that perhaps any of us feel. So that's what I wonder a lot when I buy these guys that are all around me. Am I chasing that? Is that the coping mechanism I was talking about for, feeling down in the dumps for, like I said, it started during the pandemic when I was feeling very down, as we all were. This isn't a woe is me thing. And I kept it going because it makes me feel good every time I buy these. Every time I open them, it makes me feel nice and happy, and it's for a lot of reasons. But one of them is the reminder of me having a pretty fun, good childhood. I'm not one of these people that think I had a bad childhood, and a huge reason for that is because my mom pretty much kind of spoiled me, I think, and I think toys was a way that she spoiled me. I had a lot of toys. I had a lot of Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. I mean, like, look, I bought the moment the Ninja Turtle movies came out, the new ones last August. Of course, I bought all four: Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. They're right over there, right over my shoulder. Haven't opened up those yet either, but they're there. I have Ninja Turtles dressed up as Power Rangers over my left shoulder, so I combined both of them. Like, yeah, I had the Megazord growing up. Man, I was spoiled. So yeah, I wonder, is that why I love toys so much? That's part of it, right? I feel like that's part of the memory. And if that's the case, is that bad? It is like, is it an unhealthy way to make myself feel some type of positive or positivity in general? I don't think so, but it got me thinking, like, is it maybe not? It's perhaps not a bad way to deal with something deeper, if that even is what's going on here at all. But is it like a red flag? Or even more innocently, like, is it an ick? Have you heard of people saying ick? Like, the video that I saw is like a girl saying it's an ick when a guy likes wrestling, which I guess I'm guilty of that too. If if I was single and I brought a girl home and I just had a bunch of toys on shelves, is that a red flag? Is that an ick? Do you walk out at that point? Uh, what other hobbies or like collections that a guy can have? What other ones would you consider icks? Or what would be like just a straight up red flag? I mean, if you walk in and someone's collecting human hair, that's not an ick. That's a red. That's a call to like the police. All right, that's more than a red flag. That should be a witness statement to a police officer. All right. So that I don't mean stuff like that. Like, oh, he collected skin. That's so I left. No, you should have called the authorities. I don't mean that. Although, I mean, if they're into taxidermy, that's got to be with just a bunch of just dead animals, it's all stiff everywhere. That'd be weird, right? Is there such a thing as too many animals? Like if you walk into a dude's house for the first time, or chick, whatever. If you walk into someone's house for the first time and you're about to bow, 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 let's get it on, but they have 3 dogs, 2 cats, 2 turtles, a gerbil, a parrot, and a turtle somewhere. Is that too much? Do you go, what in the exotic Joe is going on here? And do you just walk out of that animal sanctuary? Or are you like, I love animals, and is that even better? Do they all have to be the right type of animals? Only cute animals? No reptiles, no snakes. Is that an ick? Is that a red flag? Would you prefer a lot of animals or a lot of action figures? What if it wasn't like regular toys? What if it was stuffed animals? I just had a bunch of stuffed animals all over the place. Is that weird? It's funny. I do have like a couple of stuffed animals though, and I actually do genuinely like stuffed animals. I would probably have a lot more stuffed animals if I wasn't buying action figures. So maybe never mind. But I don't know. They're so cute. Shut up. I like them. I love them. I love them so much. So yeah, stuffed animals are cool, and not always stuffed animals, but like plush toys in general. Because like if I have a plush, like I have a plush Cody Rhodes, that's not a stuffed animal. If any, it's a stuffed human. It's a stuffed wrestler. It's a stuffed American Nightmare. It's a stuffed wrestler. Is that that's a plush toy, right? Because I have like plush Sonic and Knuckles. Are those animals? I don't know. So yeah, and I have a plush Smurf. Smurfs aren't animals. All right, I don't know if they're humans, but they're not animals. What do you call them? Anyways, I am so far off from. How'd I get onto this? Speaking of weird collections, Batista, Dave Batista. Speaking of wrestlers turned actors, he likes to collect lunchboxes. Is that weird? Like, is that weirder than toys? If you walk in and I have, the X-Men action figures or just an X-Men lunchbox, which is weirder to you? How desperate for sex do you have to be to put up with some of these? Like if you had to, God, that imagine you hadn't gotten laid in such a long time that you went to someone's house and they're like, "Oh, just move that my collection of human hair out of the way, and I'll be right back as I slip into something more comfortable." You know how many guys would just brush away the human hair and be like, "All right, I gotta do what I gotta do." A guy would be so desperate for sex that they would take the blankets off of a bed and then remove the human skin that they're probably collecting and still have sex with the person. I don't know why why I went there. So yeah, Batista collects lunch boxes. Is that weird? Is that like an ick? I mean, it'd be hard. But you know what? Dave Batista can collect lunch boxes. If I collect why is that such a hard sentence to say? If I collect lunch boxes, it's a lot more lame than when Dave Batista does it. Dave Batista's getting off the set of freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, walking into his mansion with his rescue dogs. There's no woman that would walk into that mansion with that beautiful looking man and be like, "Wait a second. Is that a Ghostbusters lunchbox?" That is a deal breaker. That is a deal breaker. I am out of here. Ick. Red flag. Red flag. No one would do it. No man would do that. I would stay with David Batista forever. I'd be the most loyal man. You could have all the lunch boxes. Imagine he would dump me because of all my action figures. Like, no. That's that's too much. My lunch boxes are okay. Your action figures have got to go. The only action figures you can have are of Drax and WWE figures of me. That all WWE figures of me must have a world title in it. And no Cena. Just downed that whole coffee. This got so nerdy with me that I walked into... Oh, I'm about to sneeze. It's good content. I walked into Forbidden Planet before work the other day. And they have a section where they have like old toys. But like still wrapped still in the packaging somehow. And I came across this old toy that says X-Men Secret Weapon Force. And this is a Cyclops with a battle blaster. It's called the War Tank Blaster. Motorized transforming missile firing vehicle, ages 5 and up. And the reason this caught my eye is it made me feel very. This moment made me feel very like next level nerd. Like I had achieved another level of my nerdism. Because now not only am I just into toys or action figures in general, now I'm into vintage toys for weird ass reasons. So this Cyclops here, the X-Men Secret Weapon Force Cyclops, which by the way is from I believe 97 as well, 98. This is 1998. This caught my eye for one reason and one reason only. Well, I guess old toys in general will catch my reason, but the body, the figure of this Cyclops is eerily similar to the body of that childhood toy that I was talking about that I loved growing up, that I thought was Gambit, but in fact was Mean Streak. And you know your favorite toy. You think of your favorite toy right now. You could picture that shit perfectly. So I was thinking of it, and I'm looking at this toy here at Forbidden Planet, and I'm like, that is the same body. And now that I've gotten into the collecting of action figures, I know that it is a thing for these companies, whether it be like Mattel or Toy Biz back in the day. They will use the same body or figure or build for multiple figures. Like maybe the torso of a Spider-Man and a Daredevil action figure will be the same because they're kind of similar in shape and build and in flexibility or articulation. They do that a decent amount, and the more savvy or experienced collectors will often notice that, like, oh, they gave this Gambit the morph body from last season or something like that, you know? And, it's not really looked down upon if it works. If it doesn't work, it'll be looked at as lazy or whatever. But in 97 and 98, it wasn't as scrutinized as it is now. So I looked at this Cyclops figure, and it's the same exact body as this Gambit. And the head even has like the same, it has the same hair. The hair is the same on these guys. It has the same legs, the same accessories, everything. Even the Cyclops even has a hand with a hole in it, which is meant to hold a gun, like this guy has here. But the Cyclops doesn't come with a gun. So why is his hand like that anyways? Because they just reused the same build, the same figure. And of course, I never even knew that this Cyclops existed. But the fact that there's a Cyclops here that has the same exact build, the same exact body as my favorite childhood toy, I just couldn't not have it. So I was in Forbidden Planet. I saw this randomly, and I bought it for $10, $10, which is exactly what I paid for this when I found it on eBay. And it's like taped together, like, because it's very flimsy. I mean, this came out in 98. This guy here, the Mean Streak, was 97, so 1 year after my toy that I love. So this thing has survived for damn near 20 years in the packaging. Until today, until right now. And I'm going to open this sucker up right now. As an homage to this topic of me being obsessed with action figures and toys and why. The why behind it. You know, my mom used to spoil me growing up, but now I spoil myself. This is this, in case I didn't know, there's it says this is a sticker right behind this, so that's kind of cool. Let's take this bad boy out. All right. Sometimes with these action figures that are this old, like the coloring on this guy's head is like yellow because it's just so old. In fact, it like kind of wipes off a little bit. I might have to actually clean him a little bit. And I move his limbs very gingerly because these things have not been moved in, like I said, nearly 2 decades. So you gotta be a little gentle with it. In fact, one time I opened up a vintage toy. It was on, I was recording it. It was a Creeper. Creeper was a villain turned like anti-hero in the Batman or DC series. And the moment I unboxed him, that dude just, I turned his body like once and it just disintegrated in my hand. Like right now, this guy's legs feel a little stiff, and I'm a little nervous to just jar it open. Some people buy a heat gun just for like this right here. It's funny, like some joints are a little bit not too loose. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, all right, that leg. I thought I cracked it, but no, it moved all right. Let's try the other one. All right. We got it. And the toy is intact and ready to rock. Man, he feels pretty awesome, man, if you ask me. I'm going to take out his battle blaster. This is great audio for... Oh, did I just break the... That sound is like childhood for so many of us, isn't it? I don't even know how this guy works, but that's cool. I have a new toy to figure out and play with here. Oh, I actually think I did break it. Oh shit! Yeah, I did. I broke a piece off of the side of the battle tank. It doesn't look like it actually. Oh, I think it will affect it. Oh wow! I can't believe I just did that. Yeah, I broke some little thing off of it that is going to affect it working properly, I think. Well, and therein lies the risk when you buy a 20-year-old toy or 15-year-old toy, whatever. At least the action figure is still intact, but yeah, I'll see if I could salvage that thing. It's all good. Oh, is that I think maybe that's part of why I love my girl so much. She doesn't find the action figure buying and collecting to be, I guess, an ick or a red flag or whatever. In fact, she actually thinks that when I actually put them up on shelves and arrange them a little bit, she thinks that they look kind of cool. So she's a keeper. She bought me my most expensive action figure, actually. So I can at least say that the most expensive figure I own, I did not spend the money on it. So she did. Yeah, like I think about $600 too. It's like a 4-foot tall Galactus. It's probably my favorite action figure. It's almost weird calling that an action figure. That's like an action toddler. But yeah, I'm into these guys, man. I gotta start opening up some more. But I'll probably save that for another day. What do you guys think? Am I coping for something with this? Does it matter? Aren't we all coping with some or for something in a way? Maybe this is healthy. They say do what you love, and so I love toys. I don't know if everyone should do what they love, because like, what if you just love crack? Should you just do a lot of it? Like, are you gonna be at an intervention and be like, well, do what you love? I'm like, nah, I think they meant like if you play the violin or something, dude. Like, don't do that. But I love it. Do something else. Well, I don't think there's any better place to leave you guys than by do what you love, even if it's crack. So with that being said, I'm going to go play with my toys. While I do that, why don't you guys do me a favor? You can follow me on all platforms. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good shit. I'm Will Bryant, 3 words. I'm Will Bryant, Bryant, like Kobe. Appreciate appreciate you guys.